Now, the world's top platinum producer, Anglo American Platinum, also known as Amplats, has said it plans to cut almost 7,000 jobs at its South African operations. And that in turn has drawn quite a few angry responses from labour unions, and in turn has raised the risk of unrest at its mines. The company had aimed for 14,000 job cuts after posting its first loss last year, but it lowered the target after quite a bit of backlash from the government and the unions, which organised a series of strikes. The National Union of Mine Workers, however, said it saw the decision as a betrayal. It argues that Amplats had only last week committed to avoiding forced layoffs. Union spokesman Lesi Wasishoka said that the agreement had been that 3,000 job cuts would not be forced retrenchments, but rather voluntary severance packages. Elsewhere, business leaders from the three countries that make up the BRICS, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, are currently having their first Business Council meeting in Joburg, South Africa, after being launched at the 5th BRICS Summit earlier in the year. Business leaders from 19 other African countries also attending that two-day event. The objective of this BRICS Business Council is to improve trade and investment ties among the BRICS themselves, including the processing and the creation of value addition chains. Council Chairman Patrice Motsepe said the meeting will identify specific issues and initiatives to increase trade ties within the BRICS countries and between the BRICS and African economies.
We want to be able, over an extended period of time, to show tangible success stories where South Africa and China has invested in a major factory in South Africa. We've built beneficiation infrastructure in this country for the benefit of South Africa and China. We have co-invested in third countries on the continent, and those sort of opportunities will reflect that that partnership is working. The issue of the BRICS Development Bank is a clear agenda item, and one of the things we are looking at is, from South Africa, we will be clearly proposing that the establishment, the formation of the BRICS Development Bank should be speeded up.
Right, speaking of Chinese and South African ties, a Chinese wine trader has bought into one of South Africa's best-known wine estates. Val de Vie, right outside Cape Town, will now produce high-quality red wine exclusively for Chinese market. With the details, here's CCTV's Travis Andrews.
It's named Le Huguenot, after the French settlers who planted the first vineyards here more than 400 years ago. But this is a distinctively new idea, a premium red wine produced here exclusively for China. The wine cellar has been bought by Perfect Wines of South Africa, a joint venture between Jiangsu-based wine trader Perfect China and SA winery Leopard's Leap.
I think it is really remarkable, the first investment of Chinese partners into a South African winery, and this will always be the first one, and I think we're going to make this a big partnership.
South Africa's wine exports to China have more than doubled since 2007. Perfect Wines alone supplies around 1.4 million bottles to China each year. Taking a stake in a wine estate is the next step. Val de Vie's place in the sporting world will help in the marketing. The estate is well known for hosting international polo events.
The Le Huguenot wine that's being exported to China will be produced in the wine cellar on the Val de Vie estate. And we will also give exposure to that brand with all our other international polo events, alongside with all the other international luxury sponsors.
The company plans to build a museum here so that Chinese tourists can learn more about the label. And in the longer term, it wants to offer holiday accommodation for wine-loving Chinese tourists too. This deal is seen as a major endorsement of the South African wine trade, and it's quite clear more people in China will soon get a taste of what's on offer. In the weeks to come, over 700 wine distributors from China are due here in the Cape Winelands. Travis Andrews, CCTV, Cape Town.
Right, away from matters over tipple, let's make a quick run through the markets now. A bit of a mixed bag, quite frankly, depending on the markets you're looking at. The all-share index in Nigeria, for example, down by half a percentage point in early morning trade. The all-share index in South Africa also in the red, down 0.87%. The 20-share index in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, in the green, up 0.18%. And the Egyptian market in early morning trade having a relatively decent day, up by 1 2/3%. Right, on to sports. Here's what's coming up next.